Hey everybody, Josh here. Last week, THQ Australia had their pre-E3 showcase where they showed off some of their upcoming games for this year and the next. And for those who don't know, THQ handle the publishing of Capcom games over here in Australia, so they also handle the promotion of their games as well. So there was some new Lost Planet 3 footage shown, but I unfortunately don't have my hands on it as of yet, so I can't show you guys just yet. But I still have some new Darksiders 2 and Metro Last Light footage, and much more. So, without further ado, let's break it down. First up, we have Darksiders 2, which, as I'm sure you can tell from the title, is a sequel to Darksiders, a game released in 2010. I think it was quite an underrated game, which a lot of people didn't give a chance because it was a new IP rather than a sequel. It followed the story of War, a horseman of the apocalypse, who set out to clear his name after the apocalypse was triggered too early, and it played a lot like a more action-oriented, violent Zelda game, and it was brilliant.
Keeper of secrets, I need your help.
I helped you once before, Horseman. Look at me now. How I cursed that day. How I curse you.
The sequel follows Death, another of the Horsemen who is seeking a way to undo the apocalypse. It seeks to improve upon the first game in every way: better graphics, bigger enemies, more customization, and bigger areas with more to do. The latter in particular is good news, because the only problem I had with the first game is that it was very linear at times. From the footage here of the combat, it looks like Death is a much faster, more acrobatic fighter than War, so the gameplay will be a nice change of pace from the first game. And as mentioned earlier, enemies are a lot bigger. I love a boss battle with a huge enemy, and Darksiders doesn't look to disappoint. Darksiders 2 will release on PC, PS3, and Xbox 360 sometime in August 2012, with the Wii U version releasing later this year at some point. Next up, we have footage of Metro Last Light, a sequel to Metro 23, a survival horror FPS released by THQ in 2010. Set in a post-apocalyptic Moscow, where survivors seek refuge in the metro tunnels, it continues the story of 2033's protagonist, though I'm not 100% sure if knowledge of the first game's story is required to understand Last Light's plot.
I could use a good watch like yours. Remember, if you want to live, don't drop your guard for an instant. Hey, impressive. I heard about this.
Already you can see significant graphical improvements, and the dark, eerie atmosphere is well established, even in the outdoor areas. One detail in this scene that I really liked was that the rain actually blocks your visibility on your visor, and you have to wipe it off in order to maintain constant visibility. This scene gives the impression that there will be portions of the game where in order to actually see, you need to have your flashlight on. And that's something I really like about games, because often you can see just as well in the dark as you can in the day, and it kind of makes it pointless. It also looks like there's a Geiger counter there, so you may have to watch out for dangerous radiation in some areas of the metro. And again, when you squish the bug, it blocks your visibility and you have to wipe it off. I don't know about you guys, but I would probably try to fight off all the wolves at this point. But I like the fact that these wolves are probably unbeatable, because it gives you an actual incentive to hide and not just go in guns blazing. I really like the camera work as you're opening the plane door here. It's pretty immersive and makes it feel as if you're actually in the role of your character. And I like the sort of hallucination you have in the plane. It's sort of like the sanity effects in Eternal Darkness and Amnesia and those sorts of games. This scene seems to be some sort of flashback to a pre-apocalypse scene, and I really like what they've done with the lighting and the music. It's It makes the scene really dramatic, and it's sort of a different kind of horror, scary sort of thing than the rest of the game. So I hope there's more cutscenes like this one that explain the story, so there's a bit of a contrast between the
Behind the
two.
building.
The next few scenes show off the game's combat, and you can see a few different types of weapons in play. There's some sort of Gauss shotgun-y sort of thing. I'm not really a weapons expert, so I don't really know what that is. There's also a sawed-off shotgun, and it's either a Molotov or a flare. But combat looks like it could be really hard at points. You get swarmed by a lot of enemies, and I assume that there will be limited ammo because it's a survival horror game, so you're either going to have to be really accurate or just get the hell out of there at points. So that's a thing I'm really looking forward to because I like that feeling of helplessness in horror games. Metro Last Light will launch sometime in 2013 on PS3, Xbox 360, PC, and potentially Wii U. It's not 100% certain yet, but it'll be good to see it on a Nintendo console. And also, if you haven't checked it out, there'll be a little annotation floating on the screen somewhere. There was a live-action trailer promoting Metro Last Light, which I thought was really well done, so yeah, you should probably check that out. In keeping with the Russian theme, I've got a bit of info on Company of Heroes 2, an RTS coming out sometime in 2013 also. I don't have any gameplay footage, but I will be posting screenshots on my blog, which I'll post a link to later on. Company of Heroes 2 puts you in the role of a commander of the Soviet Red Army during World War II as you fight off the Nazis on the Eastern Front. It's set to improve the already amazing first game, with a new engine, new graphics, and gameplay adjustments. And while it wasn't at the E3 conference, a trailer for WWE 13 was released around the same time as the other footage, so I thought I'd include that as well. I'm not a wrestling person myself, but fans of the sport will probably appreciate it. I myself always liked the character creators, so it'd be good to see what they do with that. I'll be posting more information about this game on my blog sometime very soon. WWE 13 will release October 30th in the USA, November 1st in the Asia Pacific region, and November 2nd in Europe, and will be available on PS3, Xbox 360, and Nintendo Wii. That's the original Wii, not the Wii U.
The time is now to become part of something bigger than yourself. A force that will change the game.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
We will unite, speak our voice, use our power, and influence the world. We will create a new future. Everybody at home, put your hand on the screen and feel me flow through you into your homes. Join the revolution. The revolution. Live the revolution.
So yeah, that's an overview of what THQ have up their sleeves for the next year or so. They've got a really good lineup in the works, and this isn't even including things like the Saints Row the 3rd expansion, which we're awaiting more info on. Remember, in China they never grow chili.